5960 off the
5960.
Well, 13963 replacing the other option.
All right, backseaters.
1900.
Welcome back.
Copy.
You are with Undersheriff Mike Martin and Director Steve Liden. And we are live on patrol in Ramsey County. We're actually live sitting outside the law enforcement center. We're not patrolling. Now we are patrolling. So,
Copy.
for those of you who are new to Live on Patrol, we are in the state of Minnesota in the city of St. Paul, and we are with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. I'm Under Sheriff Mike Martin. I have the pleasure of serving under Sheriff Bob Fletcher, who started Live on Patrol as a way to educate people about what we do, how we make decisions, how we work, what we talk about, what kind of food we like to eat. That's a very common topic for us. And we are on patrol. We're going to go over to the east side of St. Paul because members of the carjacking and auto theft team, or the CAT team, are over there already. They've been very busy today. It's been one of those days. I'm glad I was able to get out here today, but I've been off the last two Mondays. One because it was pouring rain, and one because I was on vacation. So I wanted to make sure I got out here, and I invited my good friend and colleague, Director Steve Liden, to come and ride along. Actually, did I invite you, or did you just like beg, oh, please, please, please?
You're somewhere in between there.
Somewhere in between?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm just
pretty close.
wondering. But, and how much did I try to charge you for coming out?
If you'd got a hold of my charge card, it would have been in the six figures, I think.
So, actually, it's priceless. But, so Director Liden serves with me in the Regional Services Division and oversees our intel units and our EMRIC, the East Metro Real-Time Information Center. And what else?
CAT.
Oh, I didn't even mention CAT, the carjacking and auto theft team. So he is the, obviously, Thomas Siegelstrom is a sergeant there, and but he is Thomas's boss, and then I'm his boss. Not that that really matters, because we all kind of work as a big team. So why don't you tell people about yourself? They know enough about me.
Well, I'm really smart, extremely good looking, and single.
I forgot that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to be on the Golden Bachelor one of these days.
Yeah. That or the Rusty Bachelor.
do they have like the tarnished Bachelor, like the
over the hill?
What do you
game?
call that when they get a car gets patina on it? You know? You can tell he's got a few 100,000 on the odometer.
Easily. Yeah, I started in 1979 at 20 years old in the academy at the Stillwater Prison, and turned 21 during the academy. I worked at Stillwater Prison, and then opened up Oak Park Heights Prison as one of the brand new hired correctional officers to transfer to that facility. And then worked my way up sergeant and lieutenant. It's called CCS, like a second lieutenant position. Director of Fire and Safety, Investigations. And then I created the Office of Special Investigations for Corrections, which is their police force, criminal investigators in all 10 prisons, intelligence officers. I left that position when we got a new commissioner came in and wanted to give the job to her girlfriend. I just thought I was leave. I got recruited to come work at the Sheriff's Department as an inspector in 2000, and worked in the Sheriff's Administration until 2010 when my daughter passed, and I decided to hang it up. Last day was January 7th, 2011.
638.
And then my old commissioner, about 6 months later, recruited me to come back and work for him in the Minnesota Sex Offender Program, where I did polygraph and covert surveillance of the one guy they released. Polygraph's very interesting science. I made a lot of advances. I really enjoyed polygraph. I did that for about 5 years and retired again. And then Sheriff Fletcher called and said, come on back, I'm running. So I failed 3 times at retiring.
Wow. I mean, I only failed once, really. One job was short-lived. But that's pretty good. So what kind of crimes does OSI investigate for corrections?
Well, you know, a prison is nothing more than a microorganism of society. And so you have assaults, you have criminal sexual conduct, a lot of drug smuggling, drug use. Those are the primary criminal acts that occur within a facility. And most correction facilities are located in small towns. And those felonies would overwhelm a local small police department. So the department, under the guidance of Orville Pong and Frank Wood, agreed with a recommendation to create the Office of Special Investigation. We also had a fugitive aspect to it. We licensed. I worked with the legislature to get them licensed and get that bill passed. The help of Denny Flaherty from MPPOA, the Chiefs Association, Sheriff's Association, all agreed. Corrections always had state statute authority to hunt fugitives of the department with armed vehicles, but they weren't licensed peace officers. So when we were tweaking state statute to make sure they had good state statute use of force and deadly force, Rich Stanek was a representative at the time, and he said, let's just make you police officers. So we passed the law and then made sure everybody met the minimum requirements to make police: college, skills training, passed the force board. It took about 1.5 years to go through that process, but it's been very effective. Fugitive unit's done really well. The patrol officer that the commissioner had brought in when I left, she actually did a really good job. She maintained it, continued to flourish. The staff were phenomenal, really good staff, worked real hard, good investigations. You also had your staff that became corrupt, very small percentage, would smuggle drugs in, have sexual affairs with inmates. OSI would investigate any of those and all the internal affairs that would be a crime or a termination if they were found to be true, which 99% of the complaints of internal affairs when I was there, we were able to totally, completely exonerate the employee and show it was a false allegation.
Huh. Well, that's good.
As you know, Mike, nobody works harder to get rid of bad cops than good cops.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. We don't like them either.
No, I think we have a stronger disdain than the average citizen because it tarnishes our whole industry. And people, naive people tend to think, well, I heard this about one cop, they must all be that way. And of course, anyone with common sense knows that the majority of cops, far majority of cops, are really good, hardworking, dedicated citizens. That's why it's safe to be around. That's why crime gets fought. And it's the partnership with the citizens. Just this morning, we had 3 people steal somebody else's car, drove it around, dumped the car, threw the keys into a guy's yard. Well, the guy saw him driving the car, saw him throw the keys away, and he flagged me down and said, hey, these are the people that stole that car. Those are the criminals. That's what they look like. Here's the keys for the car. It's that partnership with the citizens that helps solve crime. It's not just the police job. It's the community, and the police are part of the community. And it's that partnership with the citizens that when they see something, hear something, that fights crime.
Right.
You want to fight crime in your neighborhood, keep your eyes open, talk to your neighbors. You see a car that doesn't belong to you, you call the police and say, hey, check it out. That's the partnership. You know, we have patrolmen, we have investigators, we have crime scene analysis, we have criminal analysis. Everybody has a specialty and does their part. The citizens' part of fighting crime is to report what they see and be great witnesses. That helps solve crime. And boy, if bad guys know, hey, this neighborhood keeps an eye out, they call right away, they know who belongs, who doesn't belong. Guess what? There's no crime in that neighborhood.
Yeah, word gets around that the citizens aren't going to tolerate it. So we're on the east side of St. Paul. Just so you know, we're monitoring all 3 St. Paul channels as well as all 3 Ramsey County channels and some statewide channels, some metro-wide channels. And if stuff kicks off, we will... do you have on?
Yeah.
You can scan that. It's good because I had to turn the scan off on this one because it's set up to scan some encrypted channels that I didn't want. So, plus you're the radio guy. Passenger's the radio guy. How's that?
Now you tell me.
Oh, and the canine. You have to run after.
I can bark like the best of them. But my bite ain't what it used to be. Toby Chief wrote a song about me once.
Yeah.
I'm not as good as I used to be, but I'm as good as I was once. Something like that. So
I'm as good once as I'll ever be.
There you
or
are.
I've ever been, or something like that.
So you were in Minneapolis for a year or two, right?
25 years.
25 years. How long has it taken you to get St. Paul addresses and streets down?
I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm getting used to the main drags, but I still get confused on the addresses, odd and even. And the minute I think I have it figured out, I realize I don't.
Give me about 20 seconds, but I was going to see if there's a phone number I can call you at.
But I'm getting used to it. It's thank God for GPS and. Oh, it looks like somebody said you're supposed to be saying clear right for me. You gotta be
it's
like that.
It's a green light. Thanks for the instructions, backseater. Keep helping me out. As the sheriff pointed out this morning, some of us have a strong desire to learn more, and some of us struggle with learning new things.
So this morning, I did something I don't do very often. I got out of bed at 6 in the morning.
You must have had something very important with your family.
Well, the house wasn't on
fighting
fire.
crime. Okay.
No, but we executed a search warrant this morning in one of the northwest suburbs related to a large ongoing case, and it was a very fruitful search warrant, and we were able to recover a pretty serious gun, a DPMS 223 rifle. It's basically an AR-15 with a pistol grip on it that was loaded with green tip rounds, which will penetrate bulletproof vests. And we recovered approximately, I'm guessing by looking at it, 10 grams of cocaine and some pills and evidence that we needed for this large ongoing case we have. So, and it's one we'll talk about at some point when we're no longer actively working it, but it's going to be really put a dent into some of our crime in the whole metro area.
That's worth getting up at 6 in the morning for. You know, we've done search warrants. I've been doing this for 40 years. You've been doing it for 40 years, thereabouts. You work hard, you do a search warrant, and you get that kind of clear, documented evidence. It's a great feeling.
It is, because you never, you get enough probable cause for a judge to say, hey, we're, okay, go ahead. Hit this house, go, if you have to, kick at the door. But fortunately, we didn't have to do that. We knocked, and the lady of the house came and was able to, I think she liked us. Lady that just drove by, she gave us a look like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm driving like right around the speed limit or a little over, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of people they're affected with some type of brain virus. They think 30 or 25 miles down is 52.
Yeah. So we're, you do all this work, you do surveillance, you get evidence, and you get a judge to sign and say, hey, go ahead and execute a warrant on this house. You don't want to come up empty.
No.
Unless, by this point, they're bad actors. So, although I will say that the mom at the house was very cooperative and very calm and
gracious.
Although she was not happy, obviously, that we were there.
Well, that's the thing that we recognize is the whole household may not be involved in criminal activity, and they may not even know that the person that they're living with is doing crime, victimizing people, hurting people, and right under their noses, right?
Right.
And we take very seriously the people's right of privacy. So to write a warrant to go into somebody's house and look through their drawers and their closets and under the bed and in the attic and all these other places, that's a huge privilege. that of privacy. And for us to be able to do that, we do a really good job of investigative work, and you have to put an affidavit together for a judge that lays out all the probable cause to show that it's very reasonable to believe this person has been involved in criminal behavior, and evidence is there that'll prove that beyond a reasonable doubt in court.
Right. And and we want everyone to be safe. We want the suspects and whoever is in that residence to be safe. We want our cops to be safe. We want the neighbors to be safe. So it takes a lot that goes into the planning for these warrants. We do threat assessments to determine whether they're kids or animals or, extenuating circumstances. If there's kids there, when do they go to school and whatnot, so that we can do it as safely as possible.
It's amazing the amount of work that goes into before an arrest is made. It's kind of like an iceberg. You only see on the news the very tip of the arrest, and you don't see the hours and manpower and all the technical work that's done in order to pull all that together. Just having a burden of beyond a reasonable doubt in court is a high bar, set intentionally so that we try never to put an innocent person in jail at the cost of letting some guilty people go free.
Absolutely, and there's nothing more important than taking that responsibility seriously, and knowing that when we arrest someone or we charge them, we're depriving them of their civil liberties, and so
we don't take it lightly. It's serious. People go to jail. People have been victimized. People have had their property stolen. They've been frightened to death. Their house has been broken into. Their children have been hurt. Their brothers and sisters.
Society. Sometimes, the carjacking and auto theft work that our folks do. You have millions of dollars that's stolen property that's often reimbursed by insurance agencies, and we all pay the price for that when we pay our insurance premiums.
And it's a small number of people committing the majority of these crimes. These career criminals. Or unfortunately, you've got juveniles that in 2015, unfortunately, a study came out, written fairly poorly. Some people jumped on part of it, and everybody read the part that said, locking kids up is not good for the kid. Well, that study says locking a kid up first time, second time involved is not necessarily good. Probably going to be dealt with better at home with mom and dad or a guardian who doesn't want that illegal, bad behavior. But the study also says 5 incidences with police, not even necessarily arrest, 5 incidents with arrest, the juvenile needs to be institutionalized. You have to help that kid. Check him out for cognitive thinking, check him out for chemical dependency, check him out for mental illness, check him out for being abused or neglected, making sure his studies are at the right level. We all know that if you're not reading at the 3rd grade level by 3rd grade, you're in deep trouble if you move on, because 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade teach you to read. 4th up to 12th, you have to read to learn what they're teaching you. And if you can't read at the 3rd grade level as you enter 4th grade, you're going to fall behind even further every year. So it's critical. I read to all my kids. My kids are good readers. I have one child that struggled with reading. We work with it. Reading up to making sure that the 3rd grade level is critical. Because these kids that we run into that are 15, 14, they're struggling in school. They feel angry. They skip school. They start committing crimes. And unfortunately, the system is struggling to help these kids. And they try as hard as they can. Monica Long is the Director of Community Corrections. She does a fantastic job with the limited resources they've given her to work with these kids. She works with us. She works with the county attorney. It's that teamwork that's helped Ramsey County have a record of reducing auto theft, reducing carjacking by great numbers compared to the cities around us. You need the password to get in? It's 2015.
Okay. No, they changed it again.
Oh,
so
that's right, they did.
That's right. Thanks, though. That did jog my memory. I have to get gas here, or we're going to be talking to you from the side of the road. It'll be live on foot.
I now know why I'm here. I'm supposed to be pushing while you're riding.
Yeah, I like that. So, for all of you who maybe just tuned in and you're wondering who's with me, it's Director Steve Liden. He's a director with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, which is a sworn position, and he runs the CAT team, Intel, in the East Metro Real-Time Intelligence Center. which puts out information out to the streets.
That's a great concept. In 2010, the sheriff came up with it to have our analysts monitor everything going on in the county, tracking the different ongoing active crimes, and having the analysts immediately start pulling together information we have on addresses, photographs, past behavior, cars that they drive, and feed that to the officers that are on the street so they can follow up and try to solve that crime right then and there, rather than wait for reports to go in the next morning and have an investigator pull up that information and then a day later go out and find out they were there but they'd left after the criminal behavior. So EMERC is a critical tool that has time and time again helped solve crimes right away by getting photographs of suspects out, getting important data of who associates are, addresses connected to certain criminals, helping identify who individuals are based on video that's picked up. So EMERC's been a great advancement in Ramsey County law enforcement.
Yeah, and they support St. Paul and the suburban agencies as well. And oftentimes those agencies will get on the air and say, hey, can you push out a photo of the suspect? Or can you, send us info on this house? They can also access reports from other agencies, so they're very valuable. I'm putting gas in the truck, by the way. Steve, you got to pay for the gas this time.
Not a problem, not a problem.
The gas.
I've been saving up. How many gallons does this thing take?
I don't know, but not as many as the Tahoe did.
Yeah, the thing was big.
Are you going to snitch off my new car?
I think
what if the bad guys see it?
Yeah, well, we arrest them again.
That's true.
That's right. Yeah, Mike's driving a really nice, clean, well-organized F-150 police pursuit pickup truck. It's got good room in it. It's not quite the barge that the Tahoe is, but it's more roomy than a Durango. I think might be his first gas fill.
No.
Okay.
No, I had to top it off when I got it, of course. So
if you're going to the Twins game on Thursday,
What color was your vehicle?
they are going to memorialize the Burnsville first responders that lost their lives when they were protecting children and a woman from a violent offender who illegally was possessing guns, was being violent to the family, threatening them. Those officers responded, put their lives on the line to save those people, and they lost their lives in that process. At the Tuesday game, they will memorialize them.
that's awesome of the Twins to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to go to the World Series this year, right?
Yes, they are. Hopefully not in the stands, though, out in the field.
Hopefully they don't have to buy tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're doing really good right now.
Well, yeah, I think Thursday my favorite pitcher might be pitching.
Oh, really?
Louis Varland.
Ah.
Kid from Mounds View and then Concordia St. Paul.
Parking lot. It's right by the entrance there. You might have a kid with the same name, but this one's born in 70.
I think he was. I think he played in North St. Paul at one point too, maybe as a youth. But his brother Gus plays for the Dodgers.
I think he graduated from North St. Paul High School, didn't he?
He might have.
I met him out at the State Fairgrounds last year. They came out. Some of the Twins guys came out to ride with the St. Paul Vulcans
21 Germain in Maplewood.
at the snow park.
North.
Oh.
So, the State Fair is a 12-day great event. And for many, many years, Art Blakey, who came up through the ranks of the Ramsey County Sheriff's Department, retired as a lieutenant, was in various positions in the department, gained the respect of everyone that ever worked with him. Art was a legend in his own time, for real.
Oh, definitely.
And then he became, at some point, the State Fair chief. I think like 30 years, Art was the State Fair police chief. And of course, officers from all across the state come and work for the State Fair police and take vacation from the regular departments. And there's a great camaraderie of those people and great respect for Art. Art retired, and Paul Paulus took over as chief for a couple of years. Paul retired. And as you know, the Sheriff's Department at the very last minute, the state fair was without a police force, and they weren't. The state patrol said no. University of Minnesota police said no. St. Paul police said no, and they were about to cancel the fair when they came to the sheriff with 2 weeks to go, and the sheriff said, "We're not going to let the community down. Community events are important for all kinds of reasons, to support people, to show camaraderie, people to get together." And so the sheriff stepped up, and we were able to cover the state fair. The county board decided not to continue that process, and the state fair reopened their own police department with a new chief, Ron Nafla, who's one of our commanders, Mike.
He is. I saw him today. He's hide around NAFLA. I'm sure you're watching wherever you are. We laugh because there's no way. But Ron's a great guy. He has quite a job there to do, and does a great job with the fair, as well as he's been managing our Contract City. And, well, it's not Contract City, but Falcon Heights.
New message.
Donnie, I'm sitting down.
Right, I don't know.
What did it ding for?
It dinged.
You can stay there.
How many did you
I
run?
ran that plate right in front of us, but it. I don't think it's not stolen or anything. It's just driving a little
Expired registration.
fast, so pretty sure we can overlook that one.
It's not expired. I can see it.
Huh. Well, the state's not always very timely.
Here's that leg in computer updating, right?
Correct.
So, Nafla's a pretty talented guy. I've known Ron for years. Great street cop. Phenomenal dog handler. He was canine for many years.
Mediocre dive.
Yeah.
I mean,
When you're afraid of water, and you're in charge of the dive team.
and you can't swim. Yeah. No.
Well, that's why we put the tank on him, so he can breathe under there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, he leads our dive team also.
He's actually a master dive instructor. He can train people, certify them. He swims in the ocean down South America, Mexico area. He's been up here, decades of experience. Very talented, well versatile. But his most important job that I think that I have the highest respect for him is he's probably right up there as one of the greatest dads.
I was gonna say single parent.
Yeah,
Raising 2 daughters.
2 daughters.
I didn't know if he had any more since the last time, but. Yeah, great guy. We're lucky to have him, but just don't tell him his head.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep.
Yeah, was not cooperative.
Riding with me
Again,
today.
recently. That was just in the beginning, right?
And he's kind of meant for.
No. I'm saying is, if that's the case, we need to listen to that. Has she reiterated that, or we're getting?
So I want to give you an update on a arrest that we made on Live on Patrol, and I'm taking you to the scene of the crime.
Well, okay, I'm much. I don't think we can. All right, good information. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Let me know if you want me to be here at some point.
Yeah.
There's
For now,
nothing to me to tell you to shut up.
Somebody must know you. They're waving high.
Yeah, that's with one finger.
Yeah.
Is that the one finger wave? Apparently, you don't know who I am.
Not in this vehicle.
I don't blame him. Where's that?
Northwest 10-1. Suspects fleeing north off of the Starbucks on Fairview.
We're a little ways
Yeah,
away.
We used to spend a lot of time up in this area, but we have people move out.
Yes, we did. So earlier this year, while we were live,
Yeah.
say
Taking one into custody.
and a call came in from a concerned citizen that a guy was in a car right here, waving a gun around, or they saw he had a gun, and we were able to swoop in and get him in custody, right? Powdered fentanyl, probably a couple pounds, and he was sentenced last week to 9 years in prison. It was just it was a great all-around call. You got your concerned citizen, you got Maplewood dispatched. We were close. I had Sergeant Jim Chin was riding with me, and we were able to swoop in and block him from leaving, and so he get that dope and the gun off the street. About a month prior to that, I had arrested the same guy on live on patrol on a Friday night because he was wanted for a shooting in St. Paul. And so good one to get off the streets and a little follow.
Yeah, it's really good results when that teamwork of citizens and police are
An obvious citizen said, "Hey, this crowd." And,
they can joke about see something. Nothing is more powerful in fighting crime than somebody, when we were young, we had the little lady down the street who peeked out the window and she knew every kid and what we did and where we went and every car. We had the safest neighborhood because we had a full-time monitor that would ring the bell as soon as something inappropriate was happening.
you were in prison, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
When I was little, my parents bought our house and had it built when I was being born in the hospital. So we moved into the house, and every time we would go somewhere as a little kid, people would run into my mom and dad if they'd gone to college with their high school, because they were in their young twenties. No, my mom or dad would say, "Oh, we live in North St. Paul in the Indian Reservation." There's a brand new section of North St. Paul where all the streets were named after Native American indigenous tribes.
Okay.
And Shoshone, Chippewa, Navajo, Blackfoot, all these tribes. And I would just hear that as a little kid. Yeah. The first day of first grade, teacher wants to know where you live and what you did in the summer. And I said, well, I live in an Indian reservation because that's all I heard. And she said, we don't lie in class. And I said, no, I'm not lying. I got in trouble until they got the principal's office because there was a new nun. She just knew North St. Paul. She didn't know. And she felt terrible for punishing me, for finding out that that's all I knew. But I grew up in North St. Paul, great little city, nice high school. Some of the greatest people in the sheriff's department graduated from North St. Paul. Who would they be?
Would the sheriff be one of them?
He might have been. I think he was in my brother's class. No, it was a really good high school.
Is he in the Hall of Fame there?
I don't know if they is.
I think there's a picture of him.
I think there is for football, right?
Yeah, for football.
He was a wrestler, football. I don't know if he did spring sport.
Huh.
But he did fall and winter. I don't think he ever lost a match.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or he definitely never got pinned. I know that. Never got pinned. My boys were all wrestlers. And I got to be honest, now, all you families out there have sons that play hockey or daughters that play hockey. I have a niece that plays hockey. Don't take this wrong, but I was extremely happy my kids did not decide they wanted to play hockey. They wanted to wrestle. Because I would be at the lunch table with a buddy of mine, Chris Esty, great guy, and he would tell me what he just spent for new skates and pads because his older boy Mike had grown, but his younger boy Matt hadn't quite grown into the same stuff, so he had to buy them both brand new. Thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, yeah, I know what you mean. I had to spend $30 on headgear for my foot.
Oh.
And, we didn't get up at 5 in the morning for mat time to practice wrestling. They had to get ice time.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. We're just checking some of our hot spots here for stolens. I'm going to go through the Emerald Inn here. We're in the city of Maplewood now. We drove up because I had to get gas. And I figured we'll check it out while we're up here.
When I was growing up, this was all field. That's how old I am. Maplewood Mall was not here. It was a field.
Really?
Yeah. I was in 7th grade when they started talking about that they bought the land and were going to build a mall there. And all my buddies would stand around, look at the field and say, a couple of years, we'll be working there. And I never worked at the mall.
No.
Never did.
I worked at Ridgedale Mall when I was 15.
Check out that car. single guy sitting in it. You got the
white one?
no, the red one in the person's lap.
Oh, I thought you meant this one.
Driver's back.
You ain't going to Perkins. I'll guarantee you that. John Baker, George.
New message. New message. New message.
Copy. And then what are we looking to accomplish when we get that James Donovan?
Could be a relative.
Yeah,
I don't know who's in it, but once you get my ID.
Well, all clear.
looking good. Must just be waiting for a friend to join them, huh?
To eat some Perkins.
Something. That's not his car. that's not her.
I hope that's not her.
Yeah, I
So
can't believe
she's
how
got
this is.
a better mustache than I can grow.
My aunt did.
Hey, let's not dish your aunt here.
Well, it was a quality mustache. I was proud of it. Tickled you on the neck though when she gave you a kiss hello. Yeah, I can't believe the development that has occurred since growing up here. It's almost when I was about 14. No, I was probably a little younger, maybe 13, 12. We used to come up here when they were building 694. It wasn't done, and we'd ride mini bikes. Yeah.
I bet they appreciated that. You guys whipping up and down there.
And I don't want to see any backseaters teasing me about how many dinosaurs did I see in the area. It wasn't that far back.
Well, close. Oh.
I gotta go put it back. Straighten it in there.
Hey, don't touch the computer. No, just kidding. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You
That's my-
want me to try to figure out how to go back? Doesn't matter. Oh man, it's kind of like for as busy as it was this morning,
Yep. It has quieted
it
down.
has quieted down. Now, didn't St. Paul have a car flee from them earlier today?
Yeah.
In the two, and Minneapolis has been struggling again with.
Boy, I think they had 3 or 4 go. It's already today.
They're doing what they can. It's just
I can't say enough about the dedicated, hardworking officers that are there,
yeah.
and the work they get done under the stress and the manpower shortage they have is really commendable.
Oh, it's unbelievable, and how they're teaming up too on like the robberies, and they'll shift gears. Within 5 minutes from whatever they're working on to the robbery suppression detail if they start to see issues, and they're doing a great job, but they're severely understaffed.
I'm going to do a quick shout out to my brother-in-law, Jerry Holman, retired sergeant, Minnesota Department of Corrections. He worked at Lino Lake, Oak Park Heights. He was in the United States Marines. Before that, during the Vietnam era. Right now, he's battling cancer.
Oh no!
And, got surgery coming up on Wednesday. Keeping you in the prayers, brother-in-law Jerry. All the nieces and nephews are praying for you. Really great guy, married to my sister Mary, who just retired from St. John's Hospital. And I got to tell you, my mother was a gifted cook and a gifted baker. And my sister inherited all of that. She can cook and she can bake. Oh,
Well, now is she the one that made the coconut cake
Yes.
and all the treats that you bring in?
that's where it comes from. I walked in one day with a sheet of cake with white sticky frosting and coconut on it, and the next day I'm carrying out an empty cake pan. It's just devoured.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And I only ate half of it.
We should give a shout out to Jim Moody,
Absolutely.
our
The assistant to the
known as
sheriff.
the assistant to the sheriff, but the nicest man in the sheriff's office, and I think that's undisputed now that Steve Yoakum retired.
Steve Yoakum retired last week, and as the sheriff said this morning at the admin meeting, great loss to the sheriff's department with the dedicated years. He walked out of there with stuff that he takes for granted that we haven't learned yet. It's just really,
Right.
and there are those guys in every business, but boy, Steve was a key. And Jim Moody, clearly the nicest guy in the sheriff's department. Had a little procedure done last week. His heart's doing fine. He's recovered 100%. Taking it easy right now. And it's.
Did he get a facelift?
Although we recommended. No, he's.
Well, you said a little procedure. I don't want to violate HIPAA, so
Yeah.
I figure, hey, facelift, maybe some Botox.
That's good.
He could be the nicest.
He can't really agree. He's got a big heart.
Yeah,
He's got a big heart.
Yeah.
He's got a big heart. Yeah. And he's missed. I tell you, you walk on the floor and Jim's not there, and there's an emptiness on the floor. He has that type of dynamic personality.
If I needed something, who would I call?
You call Jim.
I don't know. You call Jim, and Jim gets it.
Yeah.
You need a 10 millimeter socket.
2150
All those bulletin boards say, call Gary, call Gary. No. The sheriff's office, everybody calls Jim. He knows everything. He's been there for so long. Everybody knows. I don't think there's a person in the sheriff's department that Jim has not helped, either personally or professionally. He's the jack of all trades. He knows where everything is. He's an amazing man. It's all that kind of stuff that makes the job so easy and wonderful to work at, right? All great personality.
It makes it fun. We have a good time.
So are you taking time off, Mike, to go down to watch the eclipse?
You know what? No, I'm sorry. I used my vacation time to go to nice warm Mexico. And had a good time. I got to get ready to hit the horn in case my friends are out here. They're not. They're probably in school. Maybe not.
Not everybody's in school. What's 20 to 4? Quarter to 4.
Yeah, they're probably done with school. So, tonight's the big women's basketball NCAA Iowa Hawkeyes versus the LSU Tigers. Do you have any? I mean, you're a gambling man. Do you have? Do you do sports?
I do, and I don't consider basketball a sport.
Oh, no. Max Cedars, that was Steve Liden who said that. I actually never had any interest in basketball at all until I met my wife, and she loved basketball, and we had tickets to the Timberwolves, and we bought like a partial season ticket thing. That was back when Kevin Garnett, Stephon Marbury were there, Latrell Sprewell, but I just this year started following the women's basketball because it was just so entertaining, and watching Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese kind of play the good cop, bad cop on the teams. It was fun. I got to go to the Big Ten championship games at the Target Center, so that was a lot of fun. And having my daughter play basketball too.
Well, there you go. I get that.
So
I get, you're in love with a woman, you're going to do what she does and enjoy some of the same company. The reality is, I spent my time in the winter. I was a wrestler, my kids wrestled, I refereed wrestling, so I never really got to watch basketball, understand the rules. And when you don't know the rules, it's hard to watch because one guy does something they call the fall, the next guy does something that looks the same, they don't say anything.
I've told my wife many times, why do they bother calling plays? They just throw the ball back and forth till somebody's open. And she's like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And then I was really amazed when I found out they had different kinds of defense. So, but it's fun to watch. I got to admit, I want the Iowa Hawkeyes to win and knock LSU out, but it happened the other way around in the championship last year. So.
Spectating sports is, and you get a team to follow, it can be exciting. I love baseball and hockey, and football is a given. I try not to mix my politics with sports. I watch sports for sports to be entertained. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson. For those of you under the age of 40, Johnny Carson was the bar-setting talk show host at night. For 30 years, he ran the Tonight Show, and every talk show today follows his format.
Right.
He was so successful. And he said on 60 Minutes during an interview once, I don't get into pop. People tune in at the end of the day to watch my show to be entertained, relax, and forget about their problems. They don't call to get news or political commentary. That's not what I'm there for. And when I watch a sporting event, I'm there for entertainment, not political comment. And so I enjoy great athleticism, to see that great skill, that great given talent of a football pass or a tackle or a home run, grand slam, or triple play.
How about a cop tackle?
Well, where do you think we learn
bring it home?
Yeah. Well, but sports is a great way. It's my lead-in. Sports is a great way for teenagers to get exhilarated, to get exercise, to feel proud of their accomplishments, to push their skill level, and not get involved in crime, to have a thrill and excitement. You want positive, good reinforcement to teach dependability, commitment to sports, commitment to your team, being able to handle a loss, right? You learn a lot losing. You go through a lot of different emotions. So sport activities, and it's a great way to meet people. Young kids starting out in elementary school, going to junior high. It's scary going into a school that you haven't been to before. You're not sure you know anybody. But if you've been playing sports, your teammates are your friends that you're going to be going to school with. So you automatically have that core friendship when you go into school.
Right, yeah.
You played sports as a kid, right, Mike?
I did. Highlight? No, I didn't. Highlight and skydiving, those were my sports. No, I played baseball, I played football.
And you moved around a lot.
Yeah, we moved a lot. I was not a military brat, and my parents weren't on the run from the police, but we moved around a lot. Did you see this call? All complainants sounds PIC, so disregard. Thought we might have a good gun pointing.
Squad 374. TC's on the way with the comp.
I'm asking now, and I'm trying to see if they left on foot or in a vehicle.
We heading back in for the meeting?
Yeah, we gotta go to the meeting. We have to go to a briefing where we brief the night team for the CAT unit, and we got some things we got to cover tonight. So we're not going to go much longer, but there will be Wednesday. The CAT team will be out, almost likely be out as well. Just so I can get a little more time on the street.
That's some of our kids.
Yeah. So, but they're saying that the caller sounded PIC,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I would say that's a good call. if it's true that it's him. So
yeah.
Anyway, we really appreciate your hanging around with us this afternoon, and hopefully you learned a little bit. I know Steve's a fascinating guy, good stories, and hopefully if you ride along again, it'll be a little busier. A little more police work, a little less stories, but we got to fill the time. So we'll keep you live here while we head back to the office, just in case something happens. I saw something really sad this morning as I was going to that search warrant at 6 in the morning. A dog on the side of the highway, like that was dead. On the highway in a car.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Pets are such a close family member. If you haven't had a pet, you wouldn't get that. Greets you when you care for it, when it dies and goes on. It's traumatic. It's part of a life lesson. Dealing with loss. Things change constantly. But Mike, people ask me all the time, you're 65 years old. Why are you still working? It doesn't feel like work to me. Number two, committed. The city is safe. We've had an uptick in crime. We've had a relaxation on how handling people accountable for their behavior. Yeah, and politicians didn't do it because they were wanting to see crime rise. They really thought they were helping, but they were starting to recognize that those policies were wrong. Closing Totem Town was not a good idea. They're working out a replacement, which is a good idea. You always have to try new things, and I give them credit for saying, okay, this isn't working, let's go this direction. It's very simple. I like working, holding people accountable for their behavior. I like helping people. I enjoy what I do, and I work with some of the greatest people that I've ever worked with in my 40 years. I mean,
well, yeah, we're lucky. We got a great team.
We really do.
And it makes it fun to come to work. Both of us could be retired at any time, collecting a pension, but we choose to be here because we enjoy it. We work for a boss that supports us, and that supports us, but also holds us accountable. All of us, for being professional, being kind to people, doing what's right. And we all slip from time to time and need a reminder. Which reminds me, I got a couple of bars of soap for Pat, Scott, and Nicole.
They got a little carried away with
washing their mouths out. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the tributes of a great leader. Is somebody recognizes that if you're working hard, trying to do your best, trying to help people, there are times where you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And those are learning opportunities. If you repeat them, those are screw-ups. And he's smart enough not to be of this cancel mentality that you have to be perfect in every way or I want you out, your career's over.
Yeah. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And do dumb stuff. And
he's given a lot of people second chances that other people may not have. And they've gone on to become commanders, great sheriffs, great police officers. Couldn't have done things without them. And because he's smart enough to recognize that it's that cutting-edge, hardworking person might make a mistake, might not make the best decision under certain things with the stress and timelines, but he sees the good, and nobody's perfect.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you, backseaters. I'm going to shut us down, and stay tuned on Wednesday afternoon and Friday night for Live on Patrol. Thanks again. Thanks for being with, Steve.
Not a problem.
Like a bingo board and some commentary that takes over the screen. You're on a page that's basically hijacked our live stream. That is some people that are detractors of the sheriff's office who've taken over the feed. As the sheriff said earlier, if you haven't done so already, share this feed with your friends. Subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, I've had a couple people say to me that there is like a bingo board and some commentary that takes over the screen. If that happens when you're on YouTube, you're on the wrong link. That is some people that are detractors of the sheriff's office who've taken over the feed. So block that feed and go back to Live on Patrol Ramsey County. You will see the link when we are live, and go to that one because you have a bad link and you're on a page that's basically hijacked our live stream.
We'll check the address. 5974.
On Lauderdale here and see if maybe it's busier over on the east side. Actually, maybe we'll.
Now, I've known Bob Fletcher for 33 years. I cannot say to Bob Fletcher, well done. I cannot say to him that Fletcher, days of divide and conquer, of the secret phone calls to members of my staff to divide us so that he could cherry pick parts of my department or could try and operate within my department, has ever worked, but it's caused us great consternation and great difficulty in getting things done. When I ask the question, can I say well done to him about his selection of cronies to work for him? I've had cases where literally civilian staff with no law enforcement experience whatsoever went my narcotics briefings, and we had to physically toss them out. I can't say well done to that either. My mom once said that birds of the feather flock together. I guess if you ask Rehack and Nayland where their flock is, I think they might say Bob Fletcher is part of that flock. I gotta say no to overspending. I live within a budget. Every year, as chief of police, I brought my department in on budget and on time. I asked myself, how could the county sheriff that I work with go over budget so regularly? I can tell you that Matt Bostrom, when I gave him $50 million to run a project, he not only brought it in on time, he brought back change. Matt Bostrom is a man that you can trust with your money. He understands that it's not his money, it's the public's dollars that he's spending. Finally, I gotta say no to Matt. I gotta say no to Bob when I talk about the secret deals. The backdoor deals, the conversations that happen in the hallway, the deals that seem to always revolve around him getting reelected or him getting something that he wanted. Those secret deals have got to end. It's time to bring law enforcement and public safety in Ramsey County out in the bright light of the day. And so I say no to Bob Fletcher. No, you have not been a good and faithful servant. It's time for a change in leadership here. It's time for Ramsey County to have new leadership. It's time for Matt Bostrom to be county sheriff in Ramsey County, and that's why I'm supporting him.